Welcome to my opinion for
Shantae and the Pirate's Curse.
Taking place after the last game, we again play as Shantae, who's now fully human. She wakes up when attacked by the ammo baron, who has again bought the town from the idiot mayor. Shantae then gets into some hot water with the law from the palace. Wait, there's an actual police force in this world? What the hell were they in the first game? Anywho, after that nonsense is done, Shantae goes home and gets caught in a booby trap by Risky Boots, who has accused of her stealing her gear and crew. Shantae says nope, and Risky comes to the conclusion that it must be the evil pirate master who is trying to resurrect himself. So Shantae decides to buddy up with Risky Boots to stop this evil from coming back. As you can see, this has a bit more going on plot-wise than the last game, and I like it, as you get to know the characters a little more since they get more screen time. This is especially true for Risky and Roddy Tops. The comedy is still here as well, with some fourth wall breaking, references, and some other tidbits. I'm not going to act like this was some grand tale, but it was a step up from the last game and everyone still remains likable. There's also a good and bad ending which is fairly simple to obtain. You can tell they upped the game in this one. Just going by the town attack in the beginning pretty much gives you the indication how much it's improved. It just felt much faster and gave more of a challenge. Your reaction time will be tested here, and even though I got a bit roughed up, it never felt cheap or killed my enjoyment. In fact, my enjoyment was increased. There's even a little more focus on puzzles this time around. It helps that the controls are still perfect with no input delays or any other nonsense. One thing they took out though was the foreground and background jumping, but to be honest, it's not really a big deal. Also, your magic meter is gone for obvious reasons. Since you're a full-blown human now, you don't get any magical transformation powers. Instead, you will be getting Risky's pirate gear to help you in your adventure. You got a gun, hat, sword, boots, and finally the cannon. Each with their own abilities that allow you to get through the game and find some good old secrets when you backtrack. I will say they are better handled than the transformation powers, as they find many more fun and challenging ways to use them. There's even times when you gotta mix them up, creating some intense moments. Some of these can be used as weapons, but to be honest, they aren't too great for offense. So yeah, nice addition, but I would rather stick with my hair. As mentioned, you will be backtracking not only to find items to move the story along, but also hearts and mutated Tinkerbat's dark magic. The hearts are used to increase your health, which is done by going back to Scuttletown and asking the sexy blacksmith to squish these cute little things for you. Though while you're here, you can also take a dip in the pool to regain health, and shop to buy upgrades for your hair and weapons. There's also new moves you can pick up, but to be honest, they felt pretty useless. Also, stuff like the spike balls are regular items that have a use limit, so you either gotta buy them or get them from an enemy drop. Same goes for most of the other items. Now back to the dark magic you get from the bats. These are important since collecting them all gets you the good ending. Now this might sound like a pain to collect all this stuff, but it's not so bad. Since this time around the level select is a bit different. It's not like before that everything was just on one island. Nope, this time around you have 6 islands to fully explore, which are a pretty nice size. Each of these islands have little icons letting you know how many hearts and bats there are, and if you're missing any. The map system is pretty straightforward, as it starts with nothing but fills up as you explore. The dungeons within the islands even have maps you can find, making navigation even easier. The warp system has changed this time around, as there's no statues, but flares. Just use it while outside and you'll be quickly taken back to the ship. There is a limited number that you can carry around, so don't go too crazy. In each of these dungeons, you do have to face a nasty boss that even has their own funny little sub name. The last game was kinda lacking in the boss fights, but this game greatly improves on it, both in quality and quantity. Each boss is fun to take on, and you get a better indication when it's dying, as in the last game, you felt like you were fighting them forever. The game looks pretty similar to the last one, though they touched it up a bit. It's not as pixelated, and it's full screen while looking stretched out and ugly. The game retains the same vibrant and colorful look, though this time there are more varied stages and the backgrounds are much more detailed. The dungeons as well are a step up, as instead of minor differences like in the last game, these look completely different from one another. The character animations and designs still look great. Even the character portraits got a big upgrade. This is especially nice with all the good old fan service the game has. I also like how sometimes after each dungeon you can see the town changing thanks to the ammo baron, along with the townfolk's dialogue, which can lead up to some funny lines. There is some voice work this time around, well, sort of. Shantae says just brief lines like a name or catchphrase. Everyone else is pretty much mute. I wish they had the budget for full voice work, but this is fine.
Red to go.
There was no technical problems I ran into, frame rate is smooth, and there's no weird bugs. We got another solid entry to the series. While graphically it looks pretty similar with just small touch-ups, it did make leaps to where it counts: the gameplay. It just felt more varied as the powers were just used better this time around, making for a more challenging and fun game. Islands and dungeons are also nicely designed, and it doesn't feel like you just get in similar areas with minor differences. The story this time around was also more entertaining, as it allows you to get to know the cast a little bit more and keeps the comedy. The game took me about 8 hours and change to beat, and that's with collecting everything. Replay wise, you can unlock picks like last time, so collecting everything or doing a speed run nets you a different picture. You also unlock pirate mode, which gives you all the pirate gear from the start, letting you complete speedruns easier, and that's it. So unless you want to get different pictures and are interested in doing speedruns, there is nothing else to come back to. Shantae may have lost some magical powers, but this game did not, and it's one adventure worth sailing the seas for. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.